just started watching it and I really loved it. I'm only on season 2, I barely just started, but after watching it, it really made me want to come out to my family, or it made me think about it more, because, seeing, I know it's not real, like for Mia, I love Mia, the character. When I'm watching a show like that, I know it's not real, but I know there's people that are like that, so I know there's people that are actually dealing with things like that, so I feel bad knowing that there's someone out there going through that. I cry at everything, if it's happy tears or anything like that. I cry every time I watch Inside Out, and I've seen it like, I don't know how many times. But watching someone else go through that experience of coming out, telling people, and them having that kind of reaction, I told my story on here where only my close family knows my mom, my dad, and my brother. I told my mom first, then I told my brother, then my dad, and they all had different kind of reactions, but in the end, it's basically the same. They all knew, So I'll get into that later of how to tell my family, because I don't know, I have no idea, but to tell someone like that in the show, it wasn't really the worst case scenario, there could have been a lot worse, and there are worse stories than that. It wasn't really like good or bad, and that's kind of how I felt mine was, but again, in the end, they were more accepting and more loving and supportive than in that show. I know there's people that are like that in real life, and to think about it in that way only makes me to realize like I should just tell them, and I feel like I'm at the point where I might as well. And I felt this before though when I told my family. I was like, maybe if I come out to my mom and my dad, my close family at least, then I would feel this sense of relief or release, and all these things would feel better, and I guess it's the anticipation and the build up of all that makes it so much worse, because it's like we build it up in our heads and then it's not exactly what we were hoping for. So maybe that was my fault, because it was a little, it was relieving and it was good, but it wasn't the exact thing that I was hoping for. And I kind of feel that with this, if I tell my family, maybe, it could be this thing that I've been waiting for finally to start living, to start, being myself and all that. And maybe if I tell my family, then maybe I could start being myself at work, in real life, with my family. But I really don't know. That's a whole nother thing. But I was thinking, for that reason alone, knowing that there's people that are like that, and even worse, people that don't accept it and will kick them out, and horrible things, all these bad things, just made me so thankful to know that I do not, or at least I don't think that I have someone like that in my life. I'm very thankful, of course, very grateful for my dad and my mom being, accepting of that. And I know it's really, I can only hope years from now, if YouTube is still a thing, someone's watching this and they're like, oh my gosh, someone had to accept this, like that was a thing back then. Like, you don't accept your stray kids. I know that's just how it is, and when you look at like nature, that's just what it is. It's not like society putting that. I know all this, in nature, in life, a boy and a girl make babies and they make a family. It's not society, that's really is how life is. But that's not all that it is, Like, not every creature needs to get with another creature and make babies, The world is full enough with babies as it is, People are contradicting like that, like they think that everyone needs to do this, live their life exactly like that, and have kids and all this and all that. And then once they do live it like that, they're gonna keep going like, oh, you need to do this with that, and you need to do it this way and that way. That is society, But again, that's not all that is, Same as everything else. Like with Twitter, online, TikTok, everything, there's good and bad that comes from it. Obviously, there's good and bad in everything, and it's like, we can't let the one bad thing ruin it for everyone, There's always gonna be that one evil, and bad things are always gonna exist, It doesn't mean it has to ruin it for everyone. We have to get rid of that. Like, that that's not the problem. We can't just get rid of society, can't get rid of life. That seems to be a lot of people's answers, that, oh, someone ruined it for everyone. That's it, get rid of it entirely, you know. I saw this video by Kendall Ray. It was about the Tylenol thing, some medicine where someone put something in the medicine and it killed so many people. And that's the reason why medicines are now, like, they have a seal on it so you can't tamper with it. I had no idea that that was even a thing. I always thought that medicine was always sealed. Like, wouldn't you have thought that would have been logical to do that? Because it's true. Like, we don't know anyone's intentions. People would, like, open it to steal some and then leave the bottle empty. Like, you don't know what. It's so crazy to think that that was a thing back then. And that is what it took to change that. I was thinking about that. It's like, we can apply that to so many things. Because yeah, it's not that easy, or it's easy to say, but that's how you have to look at it, rather than get rid of everything and scrap everything entirely. I know you have to start somewhere, but the main focus is to really prevent something like that from happening, you know. There will always be evil people, so you just have to make a way for them to not have that much access to it, you know. Medicine was not the problem. Bad people are the problem, but they're always gonna exist, so you have to just prevent them from being capable of doing that. But anyway, what was I even saying? Oh my gosh. Knowing that my family and the people in my life would be accepting of it, you know, and loving and supportive either way, just made me think like, well, I might as well do it. I think I have to do it like now or soon, while I'm still young, you know. Like I said before, I wanted to at least wait till I had someone, you know, and I wouldn't have done it like, oh, here's my boyfriend or something like that. I would have been like, oh yeah, and there's someone in my life, you know. But life is not like that. Things don't turn out the way you hope for. But that doesn't mean to stop. It means to make the best of it and make it your own. Like, when life gives you oranges, you make orange, oh wait, what is it, lemons. There's always a way to make it better for yourself, make it more adaptable to you and your life, you know. Change is always gonna happen, and there's always gonna be things like that. You just have to adapt to each other, you to it and it to you. What am I saying? What really made me think this was that knowing the fact that there are people that would much rather, how do you say this? There are people who would much rather hear that their loved one, someone that they love and cared about, passed away, rather than that they're gay or bi or transgender. They would be more accepting to that, them not being here anymore, than them being here like that, in that way. It's so sad to know that that's true, that there are people who are more accepting to that. And of course, it's like, you have to understand that they just don't know. They can't wrap their mind around it. It's not like a new upcoming thing. It's new upcoming for them because they don't know. So they can't relate to it. But of course, the line is when they're completely against it. That is where they are wrong, when they, you know, use it against you. But again, like, that's just their way of dealing with it. And so for that reason, to know that I'm very blessed and lucky enough to have people that aren't like that in my life, that I could tell while I'm still here. I think I want to do that, and I don't know how, but I think I'm gonna try maybe this year. I don't know. I really don't know if I should, like, what, make one big post, or I can't even follow my family, or should I tell them my channel? Oh my god, I'm never gonna tell them about my channel. But think about that though, like, it's like I might as well be honest and tell them everything. Like, if I get to 1,000 subscribers, I was gonna say million. If I got to 1,000 subscribers, if I got to a million, yeah, I would tell them. But 1,000 subscribers, I would tell my family, cause then it's like, okay, at least I have 1,000 subscribers, you know. And I think, not now, but if I had 1,000 subscribers, I would be on the path to being able to make a living off of it, you know. I'll do one coming out at a time, then I'll come out about this channel. But I don't know. I was thinking maybe like one at a time, but that would be so much. And it would only be a few people. I guess I could tell my close cousins and then the rest of the family, like, imagine. It's so sad I can't talk about it. I did think about bringing, if I ever had a boyfriend, I would have loved for them to meet, you know. And every time, I don't date that much, but every time I'm talking to someone, I always ask Ola, like, what do you think about this one? What do you think? I know she would have been, you know, I can't talk about it. With her, I know I don't need to worry. Even with the rest of my family, I know I don't need to worry, but of course I do wonder what she would have said, you know, how she would have thought. And I still do. I can't talk about it. But so I don't know. Oh my gosh, thinking about it, I have so many people I would have to tell. And I don't know where to start, you know. I have a few stepsisters and stepbrothers, and some cousins that I can think of that I would want to tell first, and my tias, and there's just so many people, even people at work. But I don't know if you have any advice to tell me, and if you don't know how to come out right now, if you don't want to, and you know, it's the difference between wanting to and not being ready, not being able to. If you don't feel it's the right time right now, then don't worry, you know. You can always start with one person, someone you trust. When I was in high school, the only person that knew was my one friend from elementary, my best friend still to this day. And that was the easiest one I've ever done, you know, like it was so, there's nothing even, I don't even remember what happened. But don't worry, you're gonna get through, even if you have people like that in your life. First of all, you know, I'm so sorry that you have to eventually deal with that, or that you've dealt with that. But, you know, if they really love you, they're gonna have to work it out themselves, you know. It has nothing to do with you. Well, you know, it's not like there's anything you can do to be like, look, because they are already having these ideas in their heads. But it really does have nothing to do with you. All these ideas that they're having already is from what they know, and they don't know. They probably don't know that much about it, you know. So they're probably thinking, oh, I've seen this horrible things and this and that, when it's not like that, and you know, or it may not be like that. So all the things that they're dealing with is on them, and they are the ones that need to work it out, not you. Eventually you do have to talk about it, probably. But if they're having a hard time accepting that, it's really on them. It's not to do with you. People really need to know that, you know. So I hope you know that. And of course, it's gonna be hard, you know. It's just sad. But everyone goes through hard things, and like everything, we get through it, you know. When people say that's life, like yeah, but that's not all it is. Or else why are we still here if that's all that it is, you know? So if they are willing to have you still in their life, you know, then they will come to terms with it eventually, and they have to do it on their own terms by themselves, you know. So much more of an internal thing when people are homophobic. I think it kind of is this fear. I don't know why I always make it like, I always turn it into something like that, but it's so true. Like everything is rooted into deep things like that. It's an internal fear that they have, like, oh, if I think about it, then that'll happen to me. That's what probably happened to them, right? Like they're trying to justify it because they don't understand, and it's not that they need to understand anyway. They're going through their own struggles, you know, not that they are gay too, you know. I mean, a lot of them are, but no, not a lot of them. Some of them are. And even with that, like if you don't want to be, you know, if you are, and you just cannot accept it, and you know, you don't want to live like that, it is your life. Like I'm not saying everyone that's gay needs to be gay, bitch. I always say there's not one way to live life, but there is a fear there that, oh, my kids will see that and be influenced, and they will become it. Like, are you scared that they'll become that, or that they'll realize that they've always been that, you know? Because either way, well, the last option, they'll get there eventually, you know? Not to wish that they are, you know? Because that would be horrible. Who would want to wish a homophobic person like that would have a gay kid, or a kid like that? Like, they would have to deal with so much to go through that. The kids, they don't deserve that. No one deserves that, you know? Like, it's so stupid because, you know, if only needed on that day. See, that's why I don't think about it, because it's sad to think about when you're not anywhere near there, you know. What's the phrase? I don't even know the phrase for that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Is that it? But so yeah, thank you for watching, and comment down below your stories, any advice for other people, not just me, you know. I think like about, I don't know how many, but like I get at least 100 views on videos. Hopefully that continues. And hopefully I'll reach some people. Maybe you could help someone else. And if I could help someone else, that's all I could ask for, you know. It's all I ever wanted